We're out here in the Nerve 1 with Jebediah and Bill, and they are on their way out towards the moon. It's sort of funny, actually. You can see the moon back here, but believe it or not, we're on our way to the moon. It's a little bit of a roundabout course. We're coming out here, going to do a correction, which is coming up in about an hour and 15 minutes. Doing a lazy sort of hang time up here to spend some time up here, and then we're coming back down to the moon, and all that time the moon's got to come around about 2/3 of its orbit before it's coming to meet us. And just to sort of, can we focus our view on the moon here? It'll let me. Let's do it this way then. Sometimes that's sort of funny. There we go. Focus our view on the moon here. We are heading towards the ship. It's called, it is the OHC station. It's right at Apoapsis. I can't get it to show the name, but that is the target. I got to do my correction to get my periapsis. Oh no, that's right. I gotta watch this. I've just noticed my periapsis is a little low. Might want to go a little further. I was looking more at this intersect. But I might want my periapsis to be a little bit more than 4.5 kilometers above the moon's surface. And we're going to have to make a bit of a plane change when we come up in here too. So we'll take a look at that. And why are Jeb and Bill out here? Well, this all got started with a Rover, which is, if I go back to here, a Rover which is right now right here, which had a busted engine, and Rover and had a busted engine, and Jeb and Bill had to go out and fix it. And Jeb and Bill are now on their way to the moon to man this station that we're still in the process of building. And then I got, and just after that, a burn for the Roadmate 2B, which is this one, to send it out towards the moon. And then we're going to build something and have it send out towards the moon. We've got the station's still not habitable. It doesn't have any habitation mods or science or anything. So we're going to send that out towards the moon. So lots of stuff heading out towards the moon. But we're going to start off with, I suppose, just performing this tiny little correction here. 3.17 correction. So let's get out for that. And then we'll do the Roadmate 2B, and then we're going to go into the vehicle assembly building. We're going to build ourselves a habitation module for Jeb and Bill to actually habitate. Because right now they don't have anything. Okay, we're going to lock... Whoop. That is that. And we're locking this onto the maneuver... I'm going to do this one manually. And... again, oh my gosh, there's so much junk around the moon here. I think I'm again just going to do it this. I want to watch this from the moon. There we go. I'm particularly concerned about this periapsis. It can't be as low as that, regardless of what's happening up here. We'll fix it when we get there. Okay, so let's get a little closer. Okay, and there's no reason to wait for this to get to 0. This isn't time sensitive, so let's just get started with this now. And you can see that the station's in a polar orbit. That's to facilitate it going over every possible biome. Let's shut that off. What's this periapsis at? See, that's no good. We'll put on RCS here. Can I... oh yeah, RCS is the way to go with this. We'll get this up to like 10 kilometers. That's good enough. Can't be too close to the moon as we come roaring in there. Alright, and we're not going to be really doing anything else with these folks until they are... just get the KOS window out. Until they are going to be crossing into the moon's SOI, and that isn't going to happen for another 3 days and 5 hours. So that should give us some time to build. Maybe we'll get the Hab module out there before Jeb and Bill actually have to get there. They might have a roomy abode just waiting for them. Okay, let's I think it's a line. I always am forgetting these things that I build. There it goes. This is a little script I wrote a long time ago, and it's just for lining up the solar panels for the for good solar exposure. Let's see how it does. Let's see how it does. Alright, that did pretty good. And then it says here to delete, to end the program. Cool. Alright, so like I said, these folks, they still got 3 days, almost 4 days to get to the moon. So we're going to leave them for a little bit, and we're going to jump over to our rover and do that one. Alright, so this burn's coming up in 5 minutes. Actually, I can get rid of the alarm. I don't need that no more. I don't think it's doing a more standard transfer out to the moon. Yeah, nothing too exciting. It doesn't have to rendezvous for the station. The whole point of this was for it to land on the surface. Get out our KOS script. Come on. There we go. And then it just ran into trouble. So it's had its ejection to the moon rather. There it is. So run my maneuver execution script. There are no active engines. Of course there are active. You're going to abort this. What do you mean there are no active engines? This is an active engine. I guess I'm doing this manually. Okay, we're doing this manually. That's the way it's going to be. I don't know why it thinks there are no active engines. Hopefully that's not an indication of a problem. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Okay. Because last time I tried to light this engine, it failed on me. If it fails again, I might just give up on this and send out another one. There it goes! Hoorah! Not sure what that was about, no active engines. That's an active engine. What are you talking about, no active engines? Okay, let's focus our view on the moon here. And nothing too critical with this burn. Reduce the throttle. That's good enough for now. We'll tweak that as we go in. All this is going to do is go into an orbit, and then we're going to look for a good place to put it down. It's got science-y things to do on its way out to the moon. And I got a feeling it's probably going to beat Jeb and Bill out there. SOI change. Also 3 days. Is it doing also this lazy loop thing? Why is everything taking so long to get out to the moon? Very weird. Okay, so it is going to beat Jeb and Bill, but just barely. Okay, that's fine. All right, we are into the Space Center, and we're going to do some building. Okay, so this is the OHC station. There it is. So this is the station as it sits right now. Last stream we put on this power unit with tons of electricity, tons of solar generation, my fastest antenna I have so far, all in preparation of doing science. This is the vessel that Jeb and Bill are on their way at right now, and for those people who haven't seen this thing yet, this thing is hooked to an asteroid as well, so it's got an asteroid. There's also these fuel tanks on the bottom because I want it to be able to service a lander. This is actually a lot of fuel. I honestly... Oh, I do remember. Okay, I'm not going to get into the story why there's so much. But I might launch a fuel barge out this way and fill these tanks up because I know they're almost empty. But right now, we're going to build a hab/science/docking hub. So I'm going to start with a Clampetron Senior. That is the wrong way around. Like that. And we're going to put on... Well, let's just... Oh no, I want reaction wheels. So it's under control. The large reaction wheels. like that. These are matching with the pair that's on here, and then these two reaction wheels are going to be responsible for orienting the whole station. And then another no, a hab module. I said a hab module. Let's go with a hab module. We want them to have habitation, and we want them to have science capabilities. There we go. Okay, let's do some orienting on this. This might not take too long to build now that I'm thinking about it. We definitely want to amp up the shielding on both of these. Let's do that right now while I'm thinking about it, because Kerbalism does have radiation, and out around the moon you are well outside of the protective magnetic field of Kerbin, so shielding is definitely something you want on all of the pieces. And let's see here. We'll turn on their TV. That makes them happier. Let's what do we got to configure the pod here? Scrubber never mess with. Pressure control. Want to be able to pressurize the cabin. A waste processor. Monoprop oxygen fuel cell. Or a water recycler. Let's... a waste processor. Wow. Extracts ammonia, so it makes ammonia. Okay, let's just put on the water recycler. That makes us use less water. And let's take a look at this. Do we... that one's just... oh, let's step up the quality of the life support. This one too. We want to have quality life support. We do. Okay, and let's configure the crude experiments that we can do. Now, we can do one crude experiment, and I have the flight experiment that we can do. That takes 14 days to run and requires a minimum of 2 Kerbals. Have to have at least one level 2 one. I got the buildings up to what they need to be. That's not a problem. It adds 120 kilograms of mass and costs 1,360 Kerbucks. It uses a lot of electric charge, but that's what these are for. So I think that would be a good one. And then I also have, I think these are the only 2. Yes, because these ones require being in the water. Yeah, these are the only 2 that you can do in space. I got the float experiment, which takes 180 days to do, but requires, if we look down here, a minimum of 4 crew and 25 cubic meters of volume, habitable volume, per crew member. And down here, right now, I'm only at 32.3. I'm going to save that for a future addition to this. We'll do the float experiment. I got a hab ring that I really want to unlock soon. Hopefully that will add a lot of volume. But I think that'll be a good experiment to do, and yeah, that should do it. We will run the flight experiment. Now, you know what? Let's keep it off for now. We'll run it when we get Kerbals on there. Okay, so that takes care of the hab. Let's take a look at the lab module. We got laboratory experiments. Oh, there is a configure the pod. Oh, this one can have... all right, I'll put a waste processor on this one to think about that. Okay. That's cool. Keep the pressure control in the scrubber. The other option is a monoprop fuel cell. I think there's a monoprop fuel cell aboard the ship. I think I can do without that. Might not be a bad... you know what? I'm going to put on... let's think about... okay. Let's put on the waste processor for now. We'll maybe do some adapting. But what I really want is to look at the lab experiments. Configure laboratory experiments. Now, the lab with Kerbalism is quite different than it is in stock. It doesn't do that science grinding. You can get a lot of science out of the lab module in stock. In Kerbalism, that's taken away. Instead, what it does is you can bring samples in. These are like surface samples and mystery goo samples and that kind of stuff, and process them here instead of having to bring them back down to the surface. So that's the main purpose, but it does come with some lab experiments. There's a materials-based study you can do. If you put a materials bay on here, you can just turn this into a giant materials bay, but I've already done materials bay in space around the moon, so I don't need to do that. Same with the mystery goo, that's no good. But I can do this jammed experiment. I think that's the last. Oh, the saline, that requires being in water. The birdie, that requires being in the air. Okay, so that's it. So it is going to be the jammed experiment. So that requires being in space low. Not allowed to do it in orbit about the sun, so we can do it in orbit about the moon. Requires, again, a lot of electricity, but that's what these are for. And anybody can work it, so all I need to do is get a Kerbal on board. Oh, it requires being in the shadow. Okay, that's good. We got lots and lots of batteries to run this too. So that's it. We'll do the jammed experiment. Okay. So far, so good. What I think I shall do is scale this down with one of these Rockomax adapters. Go with that. I've done that on all of these adapters, so I'll keep the same thing. I'm going to get a structural fuselage part. And on the end of this, I'm going to use the Rockomax HubMax multi-point connector, because I'm going to put docking on the end of this, right? And these are going to be all 1.25 meter docking ports, so I can dock ships to it. At one point, I want to have a lander on here. And then these bigger senior ones are for docking more station modules on it. I typically don't use this thing. I don't use it a lot because it's heavy as heck. I mean, it's 1.5 tons. That's like monstrously heavy. And you can just do stuff like, I typically usually just do this kind of thing, like do this. And then you can put one and turn it sideways. And then you can, you can build basically a hub out of these things. But just to use it, because I never use it, I'm going to put one of these on. It does look pretty good, so let's do that. Let's do that, even though it's heavy as heck. Now we got to surround this thing with docking ports. With the regular Clampetron docking ports. So we're going to have 5 of these, aren't we? Upside down. 1. Oops. 2. 3. 4. Which way? That way. Okay. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. We got to stock this with Kerbals. Are there any Kerbals in here now? There are. Let's pretend, because we got lots of room. Let's pretend. Let's put 6 Kerbals in here for now. These Kerbals aren't going to actually fly up in this thing. But I want to get a judgment of how much life support to put on. So we're going to pretend like we have 6 Kerbals aboard. That's a pretty full house. And we're going to look over to here, the little planner here. And you can see right now that we got, shockingly, let's take this off. I was about to say, shockingly, we have 61 days of food, but that's because there's food stored on this. So let's take that off just temporarily. Oh, and now I think I lost my Kerbals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I lost one of them. Let's put another one in. Okay. Alright, so food. Oh, there is no food aboard. So we're going to grab. I think it's under here. There we go. We have a normal sized supply box. So let's put that on. Let's change that to just food. That just changes the color. That changes it to food. Okay, now I'm up to 53 days of food. What do I get for 4 of these? Oh, I'm on radial still. Let's put it on symmetric. 215 days of food. That's pretty good. Like what I think I might just do. Let's do with that. We might rearrange this in a little bit. Okay, let's move over to nitrogen. 4 years of nitrogen. That's just based on leaking. Every time you do an EVA, you have to repressurize, and that uses up nitrogen. So I think I'm going to get one of these pressurized tanks. I'm going to switch this to nitrogen, and we're going to just go with 2-way symmetry. And now we have nitrogen. 23 years of nitrogen, I think. Can it tell you how many EVAs you can do? Not sure it can. Nope, but that's okay. We'll go with that. Okay, so nitrogen, food I've looked at. Nitrogen, food, oh, water. So let's put on some water and see how much water we have. Now I can turn on the water recycler. Wasn't there a water recycler on this? Processes. A water recycler is already running. Good. Okay. So with the water recycler running, I have 380 days of water. Well, that works pretty good. Like, oh wait, that's already with. Let's switch this to just water. I like to have just one container. Okay, so that is now. Wow, 3 years of water. We don't need that much water. Let's go with a smaller one. Switch that to just water. Perpetual water. So it makes water quicker than it uses it up. Oh, that's cool. Even with 6 Kerbals. Oh, they're all out. How'd you guys all get out? You guys make me... Well, I don't know how that happened. You guys are all escaping. Okay, here we go. There we are. How did they get out? They won't... No, we don't want to be in here. 241 days. Let's... How many foods did I have? I already forgotten. 215 days. 241 days. That's pretty good. Okay, so that's for water. And then finally, what's the last one? I got food. I got water. I got oxygen. Oxygen requires pressurized tanks. So let's grab some pressurized tanks. Switch these to oxygen. Oh, they're on oxygen to start with. Haha. I have 107 days of oxygen based on still a crew of 6 here, please. Yep. So, let's see. If I put this on 4-way symmetry. More oxygen, 6-way symmetry. 8-way symmetry, wow. We'll verify all these numbers in a little bit. There we go. That's a lot of oxygen. Okay. So let's see here if we can just clean up all of this. So I got, let's get the, that's a water container. Okay, let's put the oxygens like so. That's good. There's a space down here for water. Actually, let's put on the big water again. I don't like suddenly have, and we'll just put on 1. Switch this to water. 286 days of oxygen, well over a year of water. 250. I think that works better. There's no water on the other side. Nope. Okay. That's good, good, good. Let's do some coloring here. So we're gonna make green is stuff that you can consume. This is nitrogen. Make that, like, keep it black. Yeah. That will make them green. There we go. Now I want to have a container for wastewater. So I'm going to put that over here on just a single symmetry. We're going to color that orange. That's the don't drink this stuff. And we're going to change this to sewage. There we go. And I also have one of the processes makes ammonia. So what I should find is somewhere to stick a tank of ammonia. But I'm pretty much using, yeah, okay, so I need to do. Let's get a pressurized tank. I'm going to stick this one here. Lots of room. Color it orange too. Don't breathe this. And this is for ammonia. There we go. Because one of my processes makes ammonia. Ammonia is good if you plan on putting on a greenhouse. Thanks you, James. I do plan on bringing the greenhouse out here eventually for sure. So that I think is a step in the right direction. Okay. This isn't looking all too terrible. I just want to take a quick look, make sure I'm not forgetting anything really, really obvious that I was planning on doing, but I'm thinking this is looking like something I want to get out there and hook on. Let's put this back on like that, and oh, I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do. This is what I was thinking. If I get back to life support stuff, Kerbalism. Okay, I want to explore these. We got a chemical plant. Let's see what other processes we can do. So if we configure this chemical plant, we can do water electrolysis, which takes water and makes hydrogen and oxygen. We can do, I can never say this, Sabatier process. Oh, let's get that aboard. That takes carbon dioxide and hydrogen and makes water and liquid fuel. Well, maybe not. I'm not thinking of water. I got something already recycling water. I really got to get in and play with these sometime. We got the Habitation process, which takes nitrogen, hydrogen, and makes ammonia. I guess that would be good once the greenhouse is there. We have a waste incinerator, which takes waste, solid wastes, plus oxygen, and makes carbon dioxide, water, and electricity, and a waste compressor, which makes shielding out of your poop. And water. I think I'm going to stay away from this for now. Maybe as we expand the station. And then we also, though, have these external ECL life support thingy. What processes do we have on this? We got scrubbers, we got pressure controls, we got a water recycler, monoprop fuel cell, air pump is only makes sense if you're actually somewhere with an atmosphere. Okay, never mind. We won't do either of those. Okay. I think this is something that is serviceable. I put the shielding up. I want to take a look at reliability. Let's take a look down here. Habitat. Scrubbing is good. Pressurization is good. Stress, pressurized. Comfort is good. Living space is poor. Yeah, that's because I got a gazillion Kerbals in here right now. So many Kerbal. Let's just take everybody out. It'll get better. A little cramped. And radiation protection is good. Reliability is really good. I think we're okay. Okay. I think I'm going to stick with this. So what we're going to do, I'm going to save this. If there's something we forgot, and we're only going to the moon, we can bring them back. I'm going to go over here, make this the root part, so we can throw this away, and we're going to switch over to the VAB.